Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Massoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce.
And Sarah Massoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah Marshall.
Hi, Sarah Massoni. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I drank a lot of coffee today, so I hope I don't talk too fast. And then I was also making hot sauce, and so the air is very spicy in the podcast studio, and so I'm chugging water to keep from coughing. So we'll see where I go with that.
Oh, well, plus allergies are really heavy right now in
Allergies
the
are
spring
heavy.
weather.
We have a huge cherry tree outside in our driveway, so my car is covered with cherry blossoms. So every time I drive down our street, my neighbors all wave at me like I'm in the Rose Parade.
That's very
cute. Petals are like flying off the car. It's beautiful. But yeah, definitely allergies in the air. We have a caller who called in.
What?
Isn't that exciting?
It's amazing.
So I wanted to tell you about it. It is somebody from a company called Pine and Palm Kitchen. It's Megan. She makes small batch vinegars and vanilla products in Montana. And she wanted to be a guest on the show. She was wondering if we were going to be talking about Montana again. So she was sending us a message to say she hoped we were going to be talking about Montana guests again. And Megan, we are. We're going to be booking shows for the month of September. And so we are going to give you a call and book you on our show. So thanks for writing in and asking, and thanks for listening.
Woohoo!
And we're going to circle back to Montana soon. So to be continued with that.
Get ready.
Yeah, get ready. But thanks for calling in. And if you guys have questions for us, if you want to be on the show, if you just want to chat, if you just want to give us virtual high fives, whatever you want, you can give us a call. Our hotline is 503-395-8858. So we love to hear from you. And we've been partnering with the Regional Food Business Center to bring you guests from our 6-state region. We're currently meeting with business owners from the great state of Colorado. And I would like to welcome our co-host, Mike Gabel from CSPR, Colorado State University Food Innovation Center. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for being our Colorado guide.
To be here as always. Fantastic to spend time with the Sarahs.
We love having you as our co-host for the second time around as we talk to Colorado businesses. Do you have anything cool and exciting going on in Colorado you want to tell us about?
Tomorrow, we actually have a very cool event. It's called the Colorado Grow Youth Institute program. And so a bunch of high school students, they do a program where they're learning about kind of the UN Sustainable Development Goals and kind of how they can be a better steward of the community and of the earth. And so it's just going to be fun. We're going to do like a sustainable product development kind of activity with them. So they're going to develop a product maybe with some upcycled ingredients and learn about kind of along that supply chain, how you might, reduce waste or, improve kind of their carbon footprint. So we're excited about it.
Very fun. That's super cool. We'll put the link to that in the show notes in case people are interested in checking it out. But that sounds super awesome. Do the kids get stoked on it?
They do. These are kind of the cream of the crop, high school students. They write a paper and they get mentored and they do a lot of speed networking. So there's a lot of just fun people they're going to meet with. The Colorado Department of Ag will be out and a bunch of the food systems. And so it's going to be a really cool event.
That's fun. I wish I was there.
Maybe next year, Sarah. We'll come out.
Next year, yes.
Well, we would like to encourage you to connect with your state by signing up for the Regional Food Business Center newsletter. It's a breeze to sign up. Just go to Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center.com, hit connect with us, and choose the button to receive newsletters. We want to thank our sponsor for supporting the Meaningful Marketplace. Thank you for helping us spread the word about small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast. giving a voice to food from across the six-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's National Network of Food Business Centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the six-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. And I would like to introduce you to Angelica of Ruby Rose Bakery, a micro bakery and store in Hooper, Colorado. We're delighted you're on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
We want to make sure to connect our listeners to you. So, can you tell us the best way to find you online and on social media?
I think the best way is Instagram. That's always up to date. It's Ruby Rose BK is the Instagram handle. I also own another company called Prep Fuel SLV, and that is Prep Fuel SLV on Instagram as well. And I also am opening up a third location called Ultra Training Academy, and there's going to be a smoothie bar, prep fuel pickup location there as well. So I do a lot of things.
We love that about our entrepreneur guests. So we'll try to have you talk about all of them at once. But let's start at the beginning. What was the first business you opened and when was it and why did you open it?
So in 2022, this whole adventure started. I was getting out of healthcare. It was just kind of like after the craziness of COVID and all the like madness that came with it. And it was just time for something else. And food had always been a huge passion of mine. Going back to Prep Fuel, that kind of started first. It's a meal prepping company that focuses on using clean local ingredients, a lot of organic. That was to me that's been a passion project. When I was in healthcare, I started teaching a diabetic class for senior citizens, diabetic nutrition. And where my clinic was located is one of the lower income areas of Colorado. And from our patients, one of the main complaints was like, we just get these food lists as diabetics and we don't know what to do with them. Like how do you put that into real life? How do you make a meal out of these food lists? So I started looking at their food lists and they were totally garbage. I mean, it was like you wake up, you start your morning eating a graham cracker and an applesauce. And for a diabetic, you're just like, what? Who is telling you to do this? They're just eating like a bunch of carbs all day long. You're not starting your day with protein. So I kind of went off the rails a little bit and decided like I'm going to give these patients hardcore like actual meals that they can eat. So we started doing a cooking class with it, and we would cook like the first meal was grilled chicken with zoodles and like grape tomatoes, olive oil, this and that, something that's like super satisfying. Everybody was just like, oh my goodness, this is so much easier, than these food lists that at the end of it, it's just like, and then just make sure you take your insulin and adjust your dose for all of this stuff you ate. So that really just got me inspired to make meals super easy for people because if things aren't easy and convenient, they're not going to do it. You see the lines at like all the food chains, there are lines in the morning, lines in the evening, and at lunchtime because people want something quick and convenient. If you're going to make it difficult, the majority of people aren't going to go for it. So I started the meal prepping just for myself, for friends, because people were like, oh my gosh, everything you make is so good. It looks so good. And so it just kind of like rolled from there. It was really exciting because it was like, people love this. They want this. They don't necessarily want to do it themselves. They don't want to do the cleanup. They don't want to do the shopping, all of those things. Anyway, then so that turned into Prep Fuel SLV. And then one of my customers, her name was Sarah Jones, and she is a amazing human being. She owns Jones Farm Organics, which I don't know, some of you may be familiar with her. She's a mover, shaker. She's on the rye revolution right now. She's out here in Hooper as well. So, as one of my customers, one day she started talking to me and she's like, there's this place for sale down the road. It was this gas station, it has been sitting empty for like 6, 7 years. And she's like, maybe you want to buy it, maybe you want to take a look at it, like, or maybe if I buy it, you go into it. And I'm like, let's just see what happens. So we started taking a look at this place, and both of us had the same vision. Like, it's the coolest roadside stop, in the middle of Hooper. I don't know if anybody's been to Hooper, but if you've been to the Great Sand Dunes, it's right there. There's Mosca, there's Hooper, there's all these places, and there's the sand dunes. So anyway, this place had been sitting for a while. We got to touring around, and it's like, let's do this. We took a leap of faith, both of us, in each other, because, yeah, she's my customer. We've seen each other high by as that, but to go in as business like partners, is a whole different thing. But we both had good vibes, we're both on the same page on so many levels. We decided to jump into it. And so that's what became the Ruby Rose. So the Ruby Rose is a micro bakery and a cafe. And there as well, we use a lot of local ingredients. We source as much local as we can. We're in the San Luis Valley, so a lot of it's seasonal. We get potatoes, we get quinoa. Our beef is all local as well. It comes from an amazing little a ranch called Blue Range Ranch. It's all grass-fed, grass-finished, organic, like premium meat. And so our burgers are just outstanding. Like, everyone's always like, it's just a burger, but oh my goodness, it tastes amazing. It's like, well, it's the beef. It makes such a difference using all these quality ingredients. It was something I always had envisioned. Like, when I started this food journey, I was like, I want it all to be local and clean. Because before that, I was always into, you have to buy local, you have to buy organic. We just have to make these changes. This is how, we vote with our dollars. I think, especially right now too, local foods and producers, it's the revolution. Like, I think we're at a beautiful time in history. As chaotic as it is, this is where change happens. People are awakening to, like, I don't need to just go to the grocery store for everything. I mean, a lot of people do, that's just the reality of it. You're in different areas, that's your only food source. I get it. But for people that have access to these local options, I think it needs to be promoted even more. I think there's still so many people that don't get the reasons why you should support your local farmers and producers. And I feel like these opportunities was just like a huge, massive blessing. And it's all just come together the way I've envisioned it. And it's still just the beginning. We're about a year and a half in on the Ruby Rose, actually, as a storefront. And when I say customer too, I was also hustling all my baked goods out of my house as well, as a cottage bakery. So there was that too. I was doing both of those things at the same time until, like, I kind of got out of order there. But after I got out of my own kitchen, this is something too that is really amazing, how life, just like, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. There's this place in Mosca it's like 7 miles away from the Hooper place. It's called the Valley Roots Food Hub, and it's a food hub, right? And for years I was like, how do you even know who's who, who's what are the producers besides the farmers market? That was my knowledge. It was like, you wait for the farmers market and that's where you get all your stuff. Well, then I needed a commissary kitchen to start really expanding. And this was the only option. Like, in our valley, were no other commissary kitchens. And so the Valley Roots Food Hub is a local food hub that distributes, like, products from all over Colorado. And it's all small, local, organic, all the things I wanted, all the check marks. I was like, this is a dream. So I got to learn and got to know all of the producers through that avenue. And it was perfect. It was perfect. I made amazing relationships. I learned how the whole entire food hub system worked. It was perfect. I was grateful for my time there. I stayed there for about a year and a half until then the Ruby Rose came up. And that's where we're at. And even with the bakery, like, yes, I'm passionate about healthy, clean eats. And that's the same with the bakery too. Like, everything's from scratch. from our sauces, from our dressings, all the baked goods are fresh every day. We use the best ingredients we can get. Of course, consumers pay a little bit more, but I think they're okay with that as long as they know they're getting quality. They know where their money is going and it tastes good. And especially if you're going to eat some big, lavish, sweet item, you want it to taste good. It has to be worth it?
Mike Gable, have you ever been to the bakery? Is that far from where you're at?
It's a little far, but we love this great sand dunes. It's an amazing place, and so we did a family reunion there probably about a decade ago now. But we'd love to go back and visit. It sounds fantastic, Angelica. So I love the whole concept of eating very local and having the high quality ingredients, and especially being connected in with your local food hub. I think there's amazing things that really kind of happen when that kind of infrastructure and the whole supply chain kind of comes together.
Yeah,
And your
absolutely.
cinnamon rolls look killer.
Yeah, that's where it started with cinnamon rolls out of my kitchen, those cinnamon rolls. So it was pretty cool. And macarons, French macarons.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the life of a baker can be kind of challenging. What's a typical day like for you in the bakery?
Well, thank God I have an amazing team. So I have created a team and I'm not the early bird there anymore. So as the entrepreneur, as the boss lady right now, I roll in about 9 o'clock. So it's not as, gritty as it used to be. Before, it was sometimes being there all night long. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. There were deadlines. My first Christmas season, I remember just sleeping on the floor for like 45 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, get up. We got to keep doing it. But right now, a lot of the ladies start about 6 o'clock, get everything going fresh. We try and do things just as accurately and streamlined as possible. We have a lot of great systems in place, so there's not too much midnight oil being burned. But yeah, so right now I get the luxury of rolling in around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm running the line a lot of the times in the kitchen. I take over, do breakfast, lunch a couple of days a week. Or else I'm behind the scenes, trying to do marketing, trying to run all the other businesses. But
You said you took over, or the place that you purchased was an old fuel station. Is it still a fuel station, or does it just look like one?
no, it is. It's an old Sinclair station. Sarah Jones is she's in charge of the gas. She's in charge of the convenience store side. She's just actually opening that side up now in May, which is great because I had it for a little while, and then with all the projects I had going on, I'm like, no, I think you're gonna do better at this than me. I'm not a like retail store gal. That's what I learned. But thank God, I was given the opportunity to figure that out. But I'm better at food.
Well, it looks like a really cute spot. If people want to check out the website, we'll put a link in the bio, but it looks very cute and charming.
I want to talk about the prep fuel, the pre-made meals that you're doing.
Yeah.
So, do you prepare those out of that kitchen there
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
Ruby Rose Bakery? Is that what you're doing?
That's the same kitchen. Yep. We run everything in a very small kitchen. We just started expanding the back so we can, add a little bit more because everything's about adding more. We're going to wholesale distribution this year as well, with all our baked goods to different cafes in the area, Salida, like Del Norte, South Fork, places like that. But prep fuel is run out of that kitchen. It is pretty much 2 days a week. We turn it over into prep fuel and get everything out by Monday morning to all of our clients. We have 5 gym locations. We have 5 fridges at gyms that people can just go scan the Venmo code and pay for whatever they want. Again, it's making it easy. You have to make it as easy as possible for people, or they're not going to do it. The majority aren't. And that's what I've learned. We are also, on that note, we are opening an Alamosa location, which is going to be another grab and go location with fresh smoothies and espresso, curbside pickup, convenience.
Going to wholesale for your bakery items, I'm sure that's a whole different animal, right? And so what does that look for you for scaling up to that? And what are some of the challenges you face so far?
That looks like 2 more bakers on hand and really fine tuning them, fine tuning packaging, making everything just perfect. a lot more organization, really the best, most profitable options that, you can put out there ideally. A lot more networking with other business owners and cafes and just really going back to that guerrilla hustling, just getting back out there and like, hey, check this out. You want this? You need this at your cafe. I can do the cinnamon rolls better. Take something off your plate.
I saw you can apply for jobs at your bakery online. Have you gotten a
Yeah.
lot of applications? Do we need to like tell people,
Oh
hey,
yeah, no, please
apply?
send people out. I am looking for culinary artists. I need a really amazing cook, a line cook, a chef. That is my dream. We really are looking for one more person to add to the team, someone that's passionate about food and clean eating and like everything has to be on point and really having fun with food. That's what we do. We have fun feeding people. It's a great energy at this spot. Every time we have customers come in, they're just like, I just love it here. Everyone's so nice. The food is so good. I've had just the most amazing compliments. The most amazing customers have come in, and it's like it's one of those feelings where you're like, this is where I'm meant to be. My whole background was healthcare and luxury hospitality for 18 years, and so I've always been in the business of people. And so this, I just turn it into the same thing. Like, mi casa is su casa. You come in, I take care of you, I feed you, we give you all the warm feelings through the food. And I think people really get it. And they're on that same page, they get that vibe. And I just love it. It's been a vortex of just amazing customers, amazing employees, just amazing experiences. It's been awesome.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to hear about your favorite item on the menu. We'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together. Ooh, that's exactly what I was thinking about, Sarah. I want to know actually what are your top 3 items that you're selling from your menu?
Okay, so my favorite, hands down, is the burger. I love the burger any which way you slang it. The meat is quality, you can't beat it. If you're gonna do a burger, you got to do it right. And we do like the classic kind of smashed burger type. Add all the toppings. You have to have American cheese. You have to have the brioche bun. You got to do the mayo, everything loaded up. That's my favorite. The burritos, the breakfast burritos are also a favorite, and you can smother them with a New Mexico red chili or a green chili as well. And I say New Mexico red chili because if you've been to Santa Fe, if you've been to Taos, if you've been to anywhere in New Mexico, there's a different red chili. And so I go to Espanola, which is 90 minutes from me, and I pick up the red chili from a spot that I have picked up red chili from since I was a child. My grandma loved this place called Romero's. It's a little roadside market that always has their own chili packaged in just like a really basic Ziploc bag, and they have like Chicos and beans and all the things. It's just one of those things you got to go see, but that's where you get the best red chili. And that was our number one seller the first year we opened was breakfast burritos.
Handheld food is really good. Well, like
Yeah, and they're easy.
yeah.
We have a grab and go little warmer that, everyone comes in the morning. 7 and 9 is our grab and go menu. So people know we always have burritos and breakfast sandwiches ready to go. We have, overnight oats, regular oats.
What is Mr. Bowmangle's big breakfast with something attributed to alligators?
Yes. Okay. So our neighbors is the alligator farm. Colorado Alligator Farm is like a mile from us. So of course we had to do a tribute to the alligators because they are so amazing. That's another stop that if you're around here, you have to go. You're like, what? This is the middle of nowhere, and there's a whole bunch of alligators in Colorado, and it's freezing, but they're amazing, and they've really done a fantastic job with all their alligators and different reptiles, and you can feed some of them, and you can hold baby alligators. But Mr. Bo Mangles is like this massive gator that they have over there. He's like famous. I think he was in Happy Gilmore. So he's literally from Hollywood. He's a movie star. So so we had to give him that tribute. So it's our largest breakfast. You know, it's the classic like all-American breakfast with waffles, pancakes, hash browns, eggs, meat, you know. That's a great breakfast too. I'm really crazy about the avocado toast as well with tumbleweed bread, which is a local sprouted grain sourdough. That's amazing. And they are another fabulous producer in the area that just opened up their own cafe in Monte Vista, which is just a few miles from us. But it's cool. They've been in the farmers market circuit about longer. That's where I met him anyway. When I started in the farmers market circuit, I met these wonderful people, and it's amazing to see all these people grow. You know, when everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, now you have your storefront, you have this, that." There's such a tight-knit community of these people. Like everybody's just cheering each other on, and I love it. Like I love it.
That's my favorite thing about the farmers market as well. I've had a stand there for like 15 years, and I think that's where I've met all my favorite people, all my friends and my daughter's friends and all my farmers. And it's just like, I imagine it's like that everywhere, but it's just such a supportive community. It's really nice to have people that understand what your life is like and what you're, going through being an entrepreneur and what you're going through being outside is also just another just different element, and it's really nice to have people along with you that understand what that life and what that journey is like, and I think it just brings you closer together immediately. You're bonded.
I love it. I love anybody that's passionate about what they do. And I think all these people are. I mean, that's how you get there in the first place, is like you really believe in what you're doing and you're putting yourself out there. It takes a lot. So I always like really just, I love those people. They're my people.
Yeah, me too. It's such a wonderful place. Do you have a farmer's market there that you still do, or just one that you used to do?
No, just one that I used to do. There's a couple in the winter and off season that I've done. There's the Alamosa Farmers Market that's throughout the summer. There's the Rio Grande Farm Park Market that's also during the summer. And then there's one in Del Norte that they have during the winter time as well at the Windsor Hotel, which is really amazing. And yeah, I've kind of scaled back from that just because I don't have the capacity right now to do it, but I did love it. I am grateful for it. You know, that's a whole other beast when you're out there being that, salesperson right in front of everybody's face. But it's nice now they all come to me.
Tell us about the meal prep. That's really interesting to me. What are the top three items in your meal prep menu?
You know, our menu changes every week. It gives people a variety. We have the basics, we have the basics for people that just want that protein, carb, vegetable, the grilled chicken, the rice, broccoli or sweet potato. That's a top seller. I have these really great sriracha honey meatballs with brown rice, and the meatballs are made of turkey. And then, a bunch of veggies tossed in there. Everything's flavored very well, seasoned very well. You rarely have to add anything. All the ingredients are clearly labeled, so you know exactly what you're getting. There's never any seed oils. All the oils are either avocado or organic olive oil. I'm really trying to get into tallow now. I'm learning about that because I feel like we should get as far away from seed oils as possible. But it's kind of one of those things that's interesting, that's the most affordable option for a lot of things on a large scale, and it's unfortunate. I'm hoping now maybe the tides are changing. I think it's going to take a lot of restaurants and big places to get involved in that change to really, see some great big effect on pricing. But
McDonald's used to have tallow in their French fry oil.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, and now it's basically like,
I think soy and canola
yeah, it
probably.
turns into like a plastic when you heat it too high, and
Mm.
we're eating that. It just seems really wrong. The other top item I'd say are the steak bowls, which it's like a steak fajita bowl, peppers, steak, guacamole, salsa, of course, everything fresh, everything from scratch. You get the rice, beans. That's another favorite as well.
You doing like a rotating menu, Angelica, or do you just develop new recipes every couple of weeks then?
We have a few favorites that make a return every, quarter, but a lot of times we keep it interesting and seasonal. When you're using local ingredients, you have to be really flexible and seasonal. A lot of your menu changes depending on what we have available, for sure.
You doing a lot of that recipe development then?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Awesome.
I have an amazing chef too that he's really passionate about it as well. His name is Steve Kinesfather, who also makes the most amazing knives. If you want to get your hands on a chef knife, Kinesfather knives, you got to check it out. I got to name drop him. He's definitely my right hand. And he's the same thing. He's on the same page as far as clean food and local eats, all of the things. So I'm really grateful to have somebody like that on my team who's excited about doing it. It's a whole different beast when you have somebody that really cares and really into their work instead of just clocking in and out like a job. This is my job. I'm here. Okay, tell me what to do. But when someone's like, no, what about this, it's a whole different thing. And you're getting such a different product when someone's putting that love into it.
And do you have any advice for people that are currently dreaming up a business?
I say do it. Quit doubting yourself. Just figure it out. There's so many options. There's so many opportunities. You just got to go out there and do it. Have a good game plan. There's a lot of places like Rocky Mountain Financial Institution and First Southwest banks around here and Southern Colorado that offer like Business 101 training. It's a business boot camp, and you can go through it, which I suggest everyone do. So at least you have that baseline. It just teaches you the basics, and then there's other options to like move forward and stuff, but they give you a nice little grant afterwards as well. And at least you get to talk with different aspiring entrepreneurs and you can like, run your ideas past them. Is this a good idea? And you have people that actually kind of help you develop your business idea and make it make sense. Like, is this going to work? Is it profitable? Is it an expensive hobby? You got to know all of that stuff. Instead of just like wasting your time and money and efforts, if it's not going to go anywhere, you got to have that structure. But I say do as much research. Thank God for YouTube University. I've learned so much. I'm always geeking out on something. I can't stay still. I can't just like chill. I'm always on the go, go, go. I got to learn something. I always have a new idea. So thank goodness for that. Like we're in a crazy times. I can't imagine going to the library back in the day and just like, what did we do? Look through encyclopedias and newspapers, like but it's nice. I'm
Exactly.
grateful. I'm grateful to be living here and now.
Yeah, you definitely have that entrepreneur spirit. I think sometimes you can just see it coming out of people, and you
Yeah.
definitely have that. I love it. It's exciting. That's one of my favorite things about having this show is that we get to meet all of these people that are doing amazing things and they have so much energy. And I think it just makes people too excited about life. And it doesn't matter, what's going on in the world. Like they're excited to be living their lives and doing the things that they're doing and they really thrive off that. And so I dig that energy and I definitely see it from you. So it's inspiring.
I love it. I love it. I think you definitely got to be a hustler, and you definitely got to, fail a few times and humble yourself, and it's okay. It's all part of the process. I love small businesses. I try and support small as much as possible. I really believe it's like an us versus them thing. It's the small business against these big, huge monsters that you're just numbers. But when you're dealing with a small business, a small producer, they've put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. You know what you're getting. When you go to talk to a farmer, you can ask them, what do you put on your crops? What's your fertilizer? How are you growing this, and that? And you trust that. You're dealing with big corporations that they're doing everything for a profit margin. I mean, we all are in an essence, but we're doing it for what we believe in as well. Like our values are built into everything that we do. So I really just think, support small business, support local, all that.
Now, Mike, how do you know Angelica? Are you helping? the spur? Or
No, this is a connection. Maybe Angelica, you were connected through like Libby Christensen or some of the different. Yep. And I think that was a recommendation. So we have not yet met, and so this is fantastic to get to hear your story and to be inspired by the many different things. I love serial entrepreneurs and for all the different things you're doing. So grateful that we were able to connect too on this program.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. It's all about networking, huh? It's all who you know. It's
Mhm.
It
great. It's
truly
great.
is.
And it's really a small world. I mean, Colorado's tiny. Everywhere really, we're really a small network of, entrepreneurs. It's awesome.
Yeah, I went to the ocean this weekend and I was sitting there thinking, gosh, when I'm by the ocean, I feel so small. But when you think about the landlocked states and the people that live there, we are very close. The internet connects everyone. I mean, I could order meals probably from you and you'd ship them over to me in Portland if I asked. So,
Coming soon, coming soon. That's the next step. The next step with prep fuel is massive distribution.
mhm.
Um, and that requires different processing and packaging. That's more, you're getting into like
USDA.
oxygen restrictive packaging, things like that, which is
Mm-hmm.
a much bigger kitchen. And so that's the goal, is to have like a warehouse size kitchen and start just going all over the place. So coming soon.
Then you can do things for flights too. I feel like some of the airlines are trying to do more local food and have smaller producers make it. I know that our friend who has a Korean restaurant here in Portland has been involved in doing some stuff through Korean airlines. And I think that's really nice. I think that's a really nice shift and move for them to make rather than trying to do big commercialized packaging. So that might be it's a good way to like kind of fund that warehouse is how other folks have done it. So
And Meals on Wheels is always looking for food, good food to distribute
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
there's so many
metropolitan.
options. Like you just got to get out there, and do it and have the staff to do it. Being in a rural area, that's been my biggest challenge, is staffing for sure. Goodness, I think Alamosa has what, about 30, 40,000 people, maybe not even that much. Don't even quote me on that. I probably am way off, but so we're 19 miles from there, and people think, oh my gosh, it's so far away, way out in Hooper. I mean, I lived in California forever, so 5 miles away took me 20 minutes, so it's not
Yeah.
a big deal to
I
travel, but
I didn't look up where Hooper was before we started today. What part of Colorado are you in?
South Central Colorado, straight down the middle at the bottom.
Well, now I'll know how to look it up too by looking up the Colorado alligator farm, which I've also never heard of, but it sounds pretty awesome.
Be
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
All kinds of
It's
amazing
incredible.
things. Yeah, yeah. It's awesome out here. It's a high alpine desert, and there's a lot to do. I grew up here. I'm glad I came back. It was nice to get away from for a bit. I didn't think I'd ever come back, but here I am and I love it. I'm grateful. I love the peacefulness. I love being in the middle of nowhere.
So, what day of the week do we need to show up for those cinnamon rolls?
They're every day of the week, fresh.
Oh,
Every morning, come
okay.
early. We open at 7. Sundays, we open at 9. They go pretty quick. All the
Mhm.
baked goods, we make them fresh, so we try not to have any leftovers. We try and get rid of everything by the end of the day. So we make this stuff that sells, that's good, that people want. A lot of the things that are hot right now are knockoff products like oatmeal cream pies and cupcakes, like the vintage cupcake with our own house-made marshmallow cream in the middle and on top, and the chocolate ganache on a really fat little fudge cake. Like super indulgent, super good, will cure a sweet tooth.
Sounds amazing.
It's been really great having you on the show and hearing your story today. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Let's tell people one more time how to find you online so they can connect with you.
So online, check out rubyrosebk.com or Instagram rubyrosebk or prepfuelslv.com and prepfuelslv on Instagram as well. I'm on Facebook too, but Instagram is a little fresher for me. So yeah, check it out. Come see us anytime you're in the San Luis Valley.
Perfect. Well, thanks for being on the show. It was great to meet you and hear your story, and I wish you the best of luck in all your businesses.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you too. I'm gonna have to grab some of your hot sauce too. I was checking out your website, so.
Thank you for listening to the show. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can follow us on Instagram at the Meaningful Marketplace Podcast. And again, if you want to call or text Sarah and I with questions, it's 503-395-8858. And we couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. Thank you to Dave, our production coordinator, and Haley, our audio engineer. We'll be back next week, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye for now.